It's all good. But welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. Obviously, we were competing for eyeballs with Coast Trap, so thank you for making the right choice. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks, everybody. My name is Joe Patra. I'm development strategist from Cavanagh Group of Companies. Thank you for coming. We're just so excited to get to share with you our all-in Palantir journey. I've worked in construction for 15 years. I've been at Cavanagh Construction 13 years now. So I know firsthand the pain points around just trying to make things happen in operations, trying to get work done, and all the disconnected systems, paper processes that have plagued us over the years in construction. So we're so excited to get to share with you.
And my name is Brett Adams. I'm a forward deployed engineer with ForgeSight. In a previous life, I was a civil engineer, so now I like to say that I'm designing the solutions that I wish I had access to about 10 years ago.
Yeah, we'd just like to take you through the Cavanagh ForgeSight partnership, the Cavanagh Palantir journey, as well as then the vision that's come out the other side, what's driving us through this all-in approach, talk about the team, and then what everybody wants to see, take you through the use case demos. So about Cavanagh, we're a vertically integrated group of companies in a bunch of different industries. So we do all our own material production. Backing up a step, we're locally completely localized around the Ottawa area. The company was founded in 1953 with one man and a dump truck, and it's grown into this vertically integrated corporation now. We do all our own material production, so asphalt, concrete, and aggregates with over 50 pits and quarries, asphalt plant, and multiple concrete plants. We do all our own heavy civil construction work, so road constructions, sewer, water main infrastructure, land development. We have a large fleet of heavy equipment, trucks, rental shop, things like that. So over 500 pieces of yellow iron. So that's things like excavators, bulldozers, as well as over 100 dump trucks, 200 on the road every day. A whole fleet of personal vehicles, pickup trucks, things like that, as well as rental shop, like I said. We also do land development and home building. So from raw land right to handing keys to somebody, we do it all.
And ForgeSight, this is I4C's dedicated Palantir practice. So as a Palantir partner, we specialize in partnering with companies like Cavanagh to take them from data chaos to operational excellency. I've seen this being embedded with Cavanagh every day for the better part of the last 7 months. I've seen the lofty goals of what they want to achieve, and I've seen the challenges that we're going to have to overcome, which Joe will speak to, but a bit more on ForgeSight. So we're currently about 20 plus AIP and Foundry certified engineers, with more as part of our dedicated internal training program. We expect that number to be closer to 50 by mid 2026. So a little bit, what was life like before Palantir, Joe?
Yeah, so you can imagine, a family-owned company that grew into a vertically integrated organization over time. Systems and processes evolve, very manual processes, paper time cards, very archaic. And over the years, we've stacked all these off-the-shelf softwares together. It's led to huge diseconomy of scale. You can imagine these systems do the one thing they do really well, but they don't necessarily play nice with each other. And so all these things that were supposed to make all our lives easier, over time, it's actually made our lives harder. So, adding bodies no longer makes it different. We're hitting this growth bottleneck. And so on top of that, you have all these legacy systems actually dictating our systems and processes. So simple example of that is like a truck is sitting waiting at a scale because the driver doesn't know the job number or cost code. So it seems kind of insane actually to have a computer tell operations what to do. So we're trying to unburden operations. We can't stress enough that this whole thing that we're building is actually for operations. So having the people who actually do the work, lay the asphalt, pour the concrete, free them up, free operations to do the work that they need to do to drive revenue. And it's actually unfair that over the years, the people that actually do the work and drive the revenue are the ones saddled with all the administrative burden. So we can't stress enough, this is for operations. So we partnered with Palantir in early 2024 to do some initial use cases. And so we canvassed, the company, and said, what does everybody need? What do we want to do? What's the initial use case? Of course, everybody wants real-time costing. So we started with that use case. We connected our legacy ERP system to our field time capture software. And though it was technically successful, what we learned through that exercise is that when you build this way, when you don't have the underlying foundation, all of those numbers that come out the other side in the real-time cost report are actually the foreman and field responsibility to enter in. So if you want a number on a cost report, foreman's actually got to enter that in. So you can imagine that's all the labor, every time card, every person on that site, every packing slip, every load of concrete, every ticket, every piece of equipment. If you want it reported on, they have to manually enter it in. So again, punishing the field. So let's let us do this mindset shift of every software that we connected together, we started thinking, oh my God, this would be so much easier if we just built it in Foundry. Everything we did, we found ourselves saying this over and over and over again. So kind of led us to this realization of, well, what if we did just build it in Foundry from the ground up? So we actually went on a year-long campaign to get that sold internally. And long story short, that's exactly what we're doing. So that leads us to the vision. um, Data is the product. It's the byproduct of efficient operations. What do I mean by that? I sat down in a training room with Jesse back there, and we just sat down and asked the question, what are we actually trying to do? So in construction, we boiled it down to this foundational layer of contracts and resources. So the work we do and the resources we use to perform that work. So labor, equipment, materials. So we set out to build these foundational objects through foundational workflows. So simple example, we materialized our employee list from our HRMS. We brought that into Foundry, created a workflow to manage that. And so now we've got this clean employee object managed directly in Foundry that we can now build upon. And then on top of that, we stack the kinetic layer. So the day-to-day actions that we do, submitting a time card, ordering a truck, ordering materials. When you've got that foundational layer there, when you've got your contracts and resources managed in Foundry, you can now capture all the actions in the decision. And so the natural byproduct of that is operational AI. This is where you get all of the information out the other side, what we call for free. So our commitment, Foundry is our operating system. We're 100% committed to Foundry, so much so that all other software must justify its existence. And we're actively deprecating many softwares. I'll start with, we killed an HRMS software before we actually made the first payment. We deprecated our dispatch software, so we're dispatching all of our trucks and equipment through Palantir Foundry, as well as just eliminating paper time cards in the organization through our OSDK app called Cavanagh Construction, we'll talk about later, as well as a slew of others. So killing our ERP system by the end of the year, working on estimating workflows, you name it, nothing sacred.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, and the way that we made this happen is by having a dedicated one-team approach for this mission. So it's total collaboration between Cavanagh, Palantir, and ForgeSight. Everybody is working on dedicated workflows that then are also relied upon elsewhere. We like to refer them as Newtonian workflows, which we'll get into later. But as Joe mentioned, this is all based around operations. It's reducing pain points. It's getting after the actual core issue that is what unlocks your return on investment. And viewing everything through that lens makes building so much easier, quicker, and then getting more people on your side to, yes, what's next? What else can we do? And it couldn't have been done in any other way. So, and a bit more about this secret sauce. We have a dedicated implementation team. These are kind of like the product owners, I guess, to use an industry term. But these folks are the gap between the front end users and us devs. So they're the ones going out to the field to roll out, like, here's your new tool that you're going to be able to use to capture the time and all the production of what took place on site. So we have this fierce customer service mindset where we're creating all these apps for people in the field. If it works for us and not them, it's a failure. So related to that is one of the secret weapons that we have is SMEs turn devs. So as I come from the construction industry as well. We also have people from manufacturing. We have internal Cavanagh devs that were in project management, now turned into devs, procurement, etc. So we have people that fully understand what needs to be built, and with training over a course of months or even days in some cases, they're able to really get rolling, and it certainly helps. So we talked about this concept of the Newtonian workflow. So let's show you what we built.
So we talked about those foundational workflows, so managing contracts, the work that we do. So the first one we're going to show is actually our global dynamic schedule. And this schedule actually represents hundreds of millions of dollars of work. And historically, I'll clear the filters here. Obviously, it's pre-filtering to me, but this is all of our work in one place in real time. So historically, we've managed all this work in all these different systems. So Microsoft Project, P6, Excel schedules for resources, multiple, probably 10 different places we would manage this information. And you can imagine a lot of our meetings were actually spent with all these spreadsheets on the table with everybody going, what did you have Wednesday? Okay, who's there Tuesday? And what we've been able to solve is we've actually democratized this information. We put the work in one place. So each one of these individual pucks actually represents the work. So paving on Main Street or grading deficiencies, this is actually the work. And it's funny because it brought up this cool, it's not a debate, but this cool conversation around who actually owns the puck. And so through this discussion, we actually learned that, well, the work is just the work. So different people own that work at different points in time. So project managers 6 months from now put paving on Main Street as the milestone. And then as it gets closer to execution, operations actually takes that puck and tweaks it. It's Tuesday and we're doing it at noon. And so it's a really cool collaboration between these two groups that we've been able to pull out by having all the work globally managed in one dynamic schedule. And the cool part about this is you're actually able to see all the work in real time in one place, multiple different ways. So you can think of the work is the work and you can do it different ways. So you can see the work by crews. So if we want to produce a crew schedule, we can do that just by the crews. If we want to see it by work type, we're able to say, look at paving mainline. This is now our paving schedule by crew in real time. So cool part about this is we get to manage the work the way we want to work and operate. But still, we want to be able to present this out to clients, crews, customers. So now we can, just by doing the thing we need to do, which is managing this work, moving those pucks around in real time, we're actually able to simply present this out to whoever needs to see it. So I actually have an example here. We have an automatic Excel export. You can hit the button. It does some AI magic in the background. We're able to actually present out a client schedule that then we can, I don't want to say manipulate, but show what we want to show, right? So that's not necessarily want to show everything that we need for operations to the client. There's some things that, they don't need to see. So we're able to, just by doing the thing we need to do, managing the work, we're able to produce whatever output we need for free. Okay, so
Now, obviously, with all these activities, you've seen what they look like on the board, things getting done every day by skilled laborers out in the field. Those people need to get paid. So the previous way that people at Cavanagh were paid, at the end of the week, you would write your time on a paper time card, give that to your foreman, who would then drive it sometimes 90 minutes back to the shop. Any errors, that's phone calls later in the evening, cutting into times that that person could spend with their friends or family or anything they want to do in their private life. So now we have our OSDK app that is in the Apple Store or Google Play. So right here you can see this is a time card that I did yesterday. This is real time. So I said yes, yesterday, Tuesday, I worked from 7 in the morning until 5 at night. I had a half-hour meal break. Joe was my supervisor. This is the job that I'm on. This goes directly into my previous time cards that I've also submitted. As part of Cavanagh Connect, which is the name of the app, we have this home feed button or page, which is kind of like LinkedIn for employees. They can see all these announcements. And then the really interesting thing, so 96% of all Cavanagh employees are on Foundry. It's about 1,100 people, give or take, somewhere in there. And this is in 10 months, from 0 to 96%. So we're really proud of that in partnership with Palantir and Cavanagh. This is quite something.
yeah, the reason, sure, we'll take it. So the reason we want to show this is an example of a very, call it unsexy workflow where someone's just submitting a time card, but the logistics around time cards you can imagine is really expensive. So you've got people driving paper around from offices, you've actually got the time and the opportunity cost of filling out that paper time card. So something as simple as just replacing paper time cards in an industry like this, it has huge, huge impact. And so this is an example of one of the Newtonian workflows. So Brett, he submitted his time card. If he's done that action, that action actually needs to go somewhere. So this is an example. It's kind of stretched for this view. It's a mobile workshop that we've got in Foundry. This is what we call Site 360. So this is in the foreman's pockets every day. And this is where we can actually get the mechanism out to the field to start doing these actions and capturing them from the field. So very simply, I'll go quickly, but I'm a foreman. I'm doing my day-to-day daily report. I'll actually pick the 21st. Because that's what Brett did his time card in that example. Great. As a foreman on site, what do I need to do? I need to capture my production for the day. So I've gone ahead and done that against test phase 2. Great. This is production. We're actually trying to change our culture in the organization from a cost-based culture to a production-based culture. So the first thing in the step is actually capturing the production you've done that day. And then this is an example of that Newtonian workflow. The time card that Brett submitted, it shows up on the other side. And so that seems quite simple and obvious to this group probably, but it's actually magic to the field where that time card that they used to drive around now just magically shows up. They don't have to enter it. And by capturing that data by the right person at the right time, you get all those efficiencies. So rather unsexy, but this is an extreme example or a very obvious example of what we're trying to achieve here. So the foreman can simply just allocate this employee's time to those space codes. Great. It's already auto selected. I'm going to allocate all those hours. Great. This is a one-step process that used to take literally hours on the side of the highway on an iPad on one of those off-the-shelf subs. So great, I've done what I need to do with my labor allocations. Great, I'm now pulling in my equipment. Brett ran excavator 101. I ran service truck 154. I can now allocate the equipment as well. if I would have selected them, I can now allocate this equipment, do the hour allocation. And again, in this first iteration, this is actually the hardest it's going to be. As we connect to our dynamic schedule, a lot of this information is going to get fed to the field through plan production. But we have to get each one of these workflows out on this is Jesse's example, but the flower petal, we have to get every one of these workflows into the field, and then we can start to connect. So I'm going to allocate 8 hours to each one of these pieces of equipment. Great, I'm doing that in real time. This is actually happening in real time in the system. Cool. So I've done my labor equipment. Now I can actually come in and I can submit what's known as my daily report. So I can submit it to a superintendent. So I can send it to Josie Grady. Test, test, test. I can actually attach files from the field too. So this is actually doing two things at once. I'm submitting a report, but now we're actually eliminating that logistics around moving the paper back and forth. I can attach it right here with my daily report. We're going to generate this report. This is a great example of just by doing the things I need to do, we now get the output perfect. So I'm able to generate a really nice looking daily report in the format that we want out to whoever needs this. Project management teams, the superintendents can now review this as soon as it goes out. And now all of our payroll is running through Foundry, so they actually have it in real time. So there's no reports that payroll doesn't have to do any extra work. If they want to know who worked on Tuesday, they can just go look. Who didn't work on Tuesday? Well, there's an absentee report that we've got in Site 360. So just by doing what you need to do, you get these outputs for free. And moving on. These are just, we're going to quickly talk about the other buttons in Site 360.
So as Joe mentioned, part of allocating your time is related to equipment. So if I'm on site, I want to be able to order more equipment. It sounds pretty straightforward. So I just want to be able to go into the equipment manager tab here. So this is all being done live. And for purposes, we can't really do this because a lot of the software is deprecated. This will actually send a request thousands of kilometers away to actually send something. So permit us to actually just show the screen capture so I can go into my heavy equipment cache. I see that, yes, I'm running an excavator. If I wanted to, I can see a request that I also have for more. I can go in, create a new request. I can say, yes, this is the job that I'm on. This is the location, confirm it. When do I need it? What's the category? How many do I need? And then this information is sent to the dispatch so they can actually send that to me. I can also look at any small tools that I need. Do I need a pump? Do I need a generator on site? So I can see that I actually do have a request for a generator. So I need the rental shop to approve that or deny it so I can get on with my day to day.
Of course, they're operating dependent.
Yes, exactly, which is operating a foundry. And it's just a good example of things that I need as soon as I need them instead of like we're replacing phone calls and paper. And it's just immediately as soon as I need this. Same with trucks. So obviously a lot of Cavanagh's business is taking materials from A to B, from site or away. So here I can go in, I can see all of the orders that I currently have. I don't currently have any. It would actually make a real request, but I can say what job am I sending it to? I can right there say where do I need to go grab material from, which is also part of our founder stack. I can input the correct cost code so that it completely eliminates somebody sitting on the side of the road not knowing what cost code to actually give the scale person to get on with their day. And I can see everything in my cache. I can see what other trucks I have ordered. And then eventually how we have things set up is that foreman will give trucks the ability to do this 5 times and then do this 2 times. Drivers have the ability to say, yes, I'm complete. And it can send that back and forth. And all this goes back to the foreman so they can continue to do their daily report.
Nice. I'm going to skim over this one. This is just one more example of this is the project management workflow where all of these actions, so the time card to the foreman. Now this is at the manager's view, so they can actually see all the production, labor, and equipment allocations for that day, view the daily reports, as well as then approve these reports for payroll and billing. So I'll skip over that quite quickly, but you get the idea. So as far as results, we went from paper to Palantir in under a year. Like Brett said, 96% of our employees are daily Foundry users. And we now have multiple, we have single sources of truth for all those foundational workflows, like scheduling, like employees, like contracts. So we've saved hours and hours just reconciling all these different pieces of data, right? And we've had a drastic reduction in administrative burden. So capturing decisions at the right time by the right person has just been such a game changer for us.
And the reduction in administrative burden just ultimately leads to faster decision making. If all the PMs know exactly where equipment is being every day, we know that we're not over allocating material or equipment or what have you. We know exactly what we're operating because we have total control. Deprecating software, Joe mentioned dispatch, HMRS. We're actually working to have a full estimating platform as the most upstream point of data ingestion. The job is one in Foundry, it goes to operations in Foundry, we complete the loop. And by doing this with a fierce focus on operations, everything else, it allows for exponential ROI.
So the message we want to leave you guys with is go all in, partner with the right companies, build out your foundational ontology, which unlocks this incredible build speed. So now that we've got these foundational objects, our ontology built, we're actually able to build extremely fast. Like we're talking days, not weeks or months. We build out the kinetic layer, capture those actions like you guys saw, submitting time cards, ordering trucks. And when you build this way, that operational AI that we're all chasing is inevitable.
Yeah, and Joe mentioned speed. I mean, we're tackling problems that have absolutely plagued the mining, construction, logistic industries for decades, and we're solving these problems in weeks, days, if not. And then to close out, to see we're over time, but for us at ForgeSight, this isn't just a one-off. This is what we're doing in construction, insurance, manufacturing, other locations, and we're here to stay. We're here to help. Um, that's all we got. So, any questions? Thank you for your time.
All right, let's go.